Hey, Scott here, Scotty's Animals. Let's talk about when guinea pigs attack. Now, I'm talking about when guinea pigs attack each other, but also when they attack you. So, first off, I just want to mention that, guinea pigs should never live alone, and especially boys, it's important that they with all guinea pigs, it's important that they don't live alone. But with boys in general, it's only about a 20% chance that any two guinea pigs are going to get along. So if for some reason maybe you got a pair of guinea pigs from a pet store when they were both babies, and now they're chattering their teeth and they're facing off and they're lunging at each other and maybe even biting each other and drawing blood, that's very common. And what do you do about that is you separate them. If you ever see guinea pigs that are fighting, and it doesn't matter if they're boys or girls, but this is generally more common with boys. If you see guinea pigs that are fighting, you need to separate them before they hurt each other, but never put your hand in between two guinea pigs that are fighting. Nay, don't hide. It's instinct for you, especially when it's piggies that you love, to reach your hand between them or try to grab one, but that's how you can get a nasty bite. Oh, Nate, relax, come here. You want me to put you back? Be good, okay? What do you do if your piggies are fighting? Well, you wrap your hand and you separate them, and the chances of them getting back together are not that great, especially with boys. I've got a video, I'll put it right here. It's called Bonding Rules, and it shows you the percentages, the likelihood of different combinations of piggies being able to get along. Nate? But what I want to talk about is what happens when you do get bit. Now, I got bit pretty bad last night at the rescue, which is the reason why I'm showing this video. But luckily, I think that as far as the infection goes, it's not going to get any worse than this. If you get bit really bad and your skin gets punctured all the way through, the chances of a bad infection making your whole arm swell up is pretty high. And if it gets really bad, you'll have to go to the ER or some kind of urgent care, and they'll have to give you antibiotics. They can give you an injection at the site, which will prevent any further infection and swelling. But if it's left untreated, it can really get out of control in ways that might surprise you. Now, I've gotten bit superficially, like a little bite here or there, hundreds of times. But there have only been a few times, and that was when I put my hand in between fighting guinea pigs, or guinea pigs had been fighting, and then I picked them up later. And when they bite in that situation, it's usually really bad because they're upset. They're not even thinking about you. And when they bite you, it can be really hard. Generally speaking, you can tickle a guinea pig under their chin. You can tickle them and really mess with them. I don't suggest that, but you can bother them, and they might grab your finger and move it away. I've had plenty of piggies, if I was to tickle them and they were in their little house, they'd bite my finger and move it away. But the amount of control, guinea pigs don't normally bite. I've got another video that reminds me of, here's 3 reasons why guinea pigs bite. Now, there's maybe a million reasons, but those are the most common reasons. So check out that video. But what I wanted to talk about is, well, first of all, hopefully preventing you from getting bit this bad. But if you do get bit this bad, so what I did, I knew it was bad. Last night, we were trying to pair some guinea pigs. I won't name names. And one of the pigs was just very awkward, very untrusting of the other piggies. And so his posture was very awkward. He was chattering his teeth, and after 3 play dates, it was apparent that it wasn't going to work at that time. But the 3rd match resulted in a bad fight. Now, I had a cuddle sack that was really padded, and I had my hand in it like this, and I was able to put them put it in between them before they ended up hurting each other. But it was right at the moment when they were lunging at each other, and I put the cuddle sack between them, and both piggies bit onto it like the death bite. Like they bit onto it and were like shaking it. And this is like what dogs do. And guinea pigs are prey animals, so maybe it's kind of surprising how aggressive they can be. But that is their nature, is that boys don't really want to live together. And like I said in my bonding rules video, it's only a 20% chance that any two boys are going to get along. And sometimes it seems like it's 0.1%. But generally, if you have the time and the patience and the ability to go to a rescue like the LA Guinea Pig Rescue, with enough tries, and maybe it takes a couple days, you'll find a match for your piggy. And in the off chance that you can't find a match for your piggy, them being able to live side by side with another piggy, even if they end up fighting with that piggy when they're together, that can still go a long way to giving them peace of mind, just having another piggy in the room, even if they don't like that pig. You'd be surprised. They hate that guinea pig, but then when you're not looking, they're laying down next to each other across the bars. It's usually just a trust issue with one or the other. But let's get back to what happens if you've gotten bit. So in my situation, I put my cuddle sack between them. They were both biting the cuddle sack, and I didn't get bit then. And I was terrified of both of them. I was able to scoop one of them up, our piggy from the rescue, into the cuddle sack and put him back in his cage. And it had been a minute or two later, and I've already held this piggy a few times, the piggy that was there to find a friend, and he seemed calm, right? So, and I shouldn't have let my guard down. It is my fault. I should have tried to scoop him up in another cuddle sack, but he seemed calm. It had been a few minutes, and so I just picked him up to take him over to his family to calm him down. But when I had picked him up, of course, I reached underneath him, and right at that moment, he reached down, boom, and he got me right here on the fleshy part of my hand. I'll show you a side-by-side comparison right here of this hand that didn't get bit and this hand that did get bit, and you can see how much it swelled, and that was just in a few hours. Now, what did we do about it? So it started gushing blood, and luckily Saskia was there, or maybe she walked in a minute later and I'm holding my hand with a paper towel, and I'm trying to clean it off, and Saskia took some iodine and one of those curved pointed syringes that has like a really narrow point, and she's like, this isn't gonna feel good, and she put iodine in it and jammed it into the wound and squeezed it, and it was a shooting pain throughout, my whole arm. I mean, not fun at all. And she's like, I'm gonna do this 2 more times, and I was like, no, and I'm looking, and she's like, don't look at it, and she squeezed it, and it hurt, and it hurt, and it hurt, and then we put some Neosporin cream on it, and we wrapped it up. And then a few hours later, at the end of the night, when I was leaving the rescue, same thing. I took it off, I washed my hands with soap and water, and then I took a regular 1 milliliter syringe. I didn't jam it into the cut, but I put it right up to the puncture. It was a deep, Saskia was like, wow, I got that syringe in really deep. It was a good centimeter of a puncture. It was the length of a guinea pig tooth. And that's why it can get infected so bad, because we're talking about the bacteria on their teeth going completely through your skin, okay, and deep into your fleshy whatever. And it just can cause a horrible infection. And I've gotten bit on the finger so bad that I had to go to urgent care. My whole arm was swelling. I couldn't make a fist, and it was really bad. And the doctor said, we'll do this injection and we'll give you a prescription of antibiotics, but if the swelling doesn't go down, you might need some kind of a surgery to reduce the swelling. Luckily, the antibiotics was able to take care of it, but that was on the tip of my finger, and this was right in my hand. And I cleaned it out again before I left the rescue, and I think that is what made all the difference. The fact that I used iodine. You could probably use maybe peroxide. I wouldn't use alcohol, it'd probably hurt like hell. But the iodine flushed out the cut, and I really think that that is what has prevented the swelling from going beyond my hand. But I mean, it wasn't just swelling, it was like my whole hand was sore even. And even right now when I touch it, it feels like I crushed it in something. So the main point of this video is try not to get bit. Do everything you can. You know, if you're bonding piggies, or if your piggies get upset for whatever reason, or if you have a pair of piggies that fight and you need to separate them, make sure to wrap your hand. And I don't even think that this is thick enough if a guinea pig's really gonna go. I mean, this would prevent... What's happening? Uh-oh, there's a lettuce riot about to break out. I don't think something like this would stop a bite, but it might prevent it from being a really deep bite, which is the main thing. But then if you do get bit, and you'll know if it's bad or if it's superficial. Even a superficial bite can get infected to the point where, you know, it's uncomfortable. It hurts for a couple days. But no matter what kind of bite, you want to flush it out really good with some kind of sterile solution, or you know, hydrogen peroxide, alcohol, or iodine are really good options. And I can't believe, I really thought that I was going to be, you know, it was going to be a lot worse than it is. And I credit that with the flushing out. And so Saskia taught me a technique, right, where she jammed that thing into the wound. I think it was the difference between a nasty infection and just a, you know, a bad bite. And so I knew after she had done that, when I was about to go home, I knew what to do. So when I flushed it out, I didn't have to jam it in there, but I put it right up and I squeezed it a couple times, and it hurt the same. I could feel that iodine going all the way deep into the puncture. And then I wrapped it up again with Neosporin antibiotic cream and a bandage, and then I wrapped it so that it stayed clean. And then this morning I washed with soap and water and put some more Neosporin, and I'm keeping it clean for as long as I can until it heals. So I just wanted to let you guys know that please don't get bit, but if you do get bit, it's really important that you flush it out with some kind of sterile solution, or whatever you call it, an antibiotic, antibacterial solution. Definitely put the antibiotic cream, because that's going to help. But I don't know, whatever you'd call the iodine, hydrogen peroxide, or alcohol, really clean that wound out, because that's going to be the difference between getting a nasty infection and not getting a nasty infection. So I hope you found this valuable, and maybe this will help prevent you from getting bit. So thanks for watching. Until next time.